Hola everyone and welcome to the 5th round of the 2011 Grand Prix 4 Offline Championship. We are here for the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya, and I am your host George Roque, and we are here for the 5th round of the season, 66 laps, 16 corners around the Circuit de Catalunya. So first of all, let's go through the Turkey race rating and the driver of the day. So the race rating was given a 7.36 out of 10, and the driver of the day of course was given to Viggo Holst for a very impressive podium, showing Viggo Holst probably deserves maybe a top seat next year. We're here at the Circuit de Catalunya, a track not really known for particularly great races. The lap record was actually set in 2009, not in 2008, where it was known the cars were pretty overpowered there, but the cars this year have also been very overpowered, but have not been actually noticeably quick around the track. But last week, it was won by Joseph Willows, with Wade Cooper second, a very comfortable Ferrari 1-2, with Cooper almost pipping Joseph Willows to the end before the end of the race. But things will most likely be different here, as this is more of a downforce circuit, not a power circuit. Anyway, here is the grid. So it's Evan Byrne from McLaren taking pole position, Wade Cooper in second, Michael Scow in third, Joseph Willows in fourth, and Alex Southgate in fifth place. A better qualifying from the British driver there from Mercedes. James Willows is in sixth. Seventh place is, as the grid goes through, seventh place on the grid is Radovan Mojin. Another very impressive performance also from Radovan Mojin, showing the Force Indias both have been doing very well so far this season. And as we go further on down the grid, Florian Volker is in 8th place, Felix Sonntag is in 9th, with Robert Ionescu taking 10th place, I believe his best qualifying of the season. And as we go further down the grid, we come on to the 6th row of the grid. George Roque is in 11th, with Rivki Bakrasane behind him in 12th. And as we go to the 7th row of the grid, 13th place is Amar Khan, with the Renault of Jamie Kenty, who has suffered a pretty disappointing season, you could say. Not really done well this season, and he did struggle last season, as he was noticeably had a lot of bad luck, and his luck so far has not changed this season. 15th place is Viggo Holst, and the 16th place is Alan Wolf for Williams. 17th place is Lucas Levi in his second race replacing Renz Jans. 18th place is Michael Mocho. 19th place is Roman Quag, followed by Xavier Quinlan in 20th position. And on the final row of the grid, we have the Williams of Sam Thompson and the Virgin of Sean Grant, the Irishman. So that is the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. 66 laps there will be around the Circuit de Catalunya. Not a particular driver's favourite, mainly due to the fact of the final chicane, which has essentially ruined the flow of the circuit, many say. Anyway, we will now have a look at the weather forecast. You can see it will be bright and sunny. However, there will be a small bit of light rain around an hour in the race. Let's see. So let's wait and see if that does have an impact on the race during that time. We will see. Anyway, we will now go down to the grid to start the 5th round of the 2011 season. Already 5 rounds we've been. So here we are. We are now on the grid. So Evan Byrne is currently on pole position, with Cooper second, Gallon third, and Joseph Willows in fourth. So who will get the jump? As the lights now come on, as we now have 3 lights, 4 lights, and we have 5 lights. Vamos, and we are underway for the Spanish Grand Prix, and Evan Byrne seems to have got a fantastic start, and indeed he has, and Cooper looks like he might get jumped by Gal if he's not careful. Gal's made a fantastic start, and now the Force India of Viggo Holst, Radovan Mojin, trying to come through, and is Cooper going to keep second from Gal? And the answer is yes, he does into turn 1, and is everyone going to avoid contact? By the looks of it, seems to be clean so far, but Evan Byrne's made a fantastic start, still by side between Cooper and Gal behind, but Cooper has managed to nab second place off Gal, and Gal tries to make another overtake coming into turn 4, and he can't quite make the move stick, as there's Mojin in 6th, there's Sonntag. Volker has dropped down to 9th, not a good start from him. Farquharson in 12th, George Roque has dropped down to 14th place, not a great start from him, but they all seem to have avoided contact, no damages at all so far. But Evan Byrne, this is exactly the start that he would have wanted, and Cooper, he also managed to just keep from Gal, as there's Southgate in fourth place, I should say. Joseph Willows in 5th, with Radovan Mojin behind in 6th. So it looks like Joseph Willows has got 41 laps of fuel, so he's going a long way in this race, whereas Mojin has only got 13, and Mojin's already trying to make a move as they come into the left-hander. Is he going to make the move stick? And the answer is no, he doesn't. Coming into turn 9, and he manages to keep the place. But there's a battle between, looks like Felix Sonntag there, as all the cars come through. You can see no damage at all. They've actually got through a lap without any damage to any cars. But for Evan Byrne, it's exactly the start he would have wanted. And Wade Cooper, who seems to be getting away from Miguel Scow. Southgate is in 4th, Joseph Willows 5th, Mojin 6th. In 7th place is Willows, 8th place is Felix Sontag. 9th place is Florian Volker, and 10th place is Robert Ionescu. That is the top 10 as Evan Burns sets the fastest lap of the race as they go onto the front straight, and Roland Moich is now trying to attack Joseph Williams for 6th place. For 5th place, sorry. He's got a high fuel, so this will be the perfect opportunity for Moich, who's only got 13 laps worth of fuel, and he can't quite make the move stick, but Joseph Williams is losing time, and obviously he's got so much fuel on his wagon that he's going to lose a lot of time, as there's Armor Carr in 10th. It's not actually Robbie Ionescu who's in 10th. He's just behind 11th. He's being attacked by Rifki Bakrazine as Joseph Williams comes in. He's been overtaken by Moich, and he could be overtaken by James Williams if he's not careful here. It's going to be side by side, but actually no, James Williams has actually managed to get through there. So Joseph Williams has lost 2 positions. That heavy fuel load could hurt him come most of the race, and he's now dropped down to 10th place. He's got a whole stack of cars all behind him. He's got the Sauber of Rifki Bakrazine, who is right behind him here, and Joseph Williams is just sitting duck at this moment in time. He's dropped down all the way from 5th down to 10th in just 4 laps, but it will be 11th once Farquharson goes past him down the end of the straight. It's side by side, and Farquharson going to make the move into turn 1. He is. And now Lucas Levi is trying to make a move on Robert Ionescu behind him, but he can't quite make it stick. Behind him is George Roque with Viggo Holst behind him in 15th. Viggo Holst, who's had not a great race since Turkey. Now here on board with Viggo Holst, now trying to get past Michael Mocho, so he's not had a great race at all. And there is Joseph Williams out in front. He's really struggling with that heavy fuel load. They're trying to go for the one stop, but at this moment in time, if Joseph Williams keeps dropping down the field like he is, and he already has dropped a ton of positions, that one stop strategy is not going to work for him at all. As now he's under attack from Viggo Holst already. Look how much he's caught him coming into turn 4. And Holst is going to try and go past him here, and he does so. And Joseph Williams could be overtaken by Mocho here if he gets a good run through turn 4 and coming into turn 5. What a race this is at the moment. Joseph Williams, this is a race that he would not have wanted. Having comfortably won the Turkish Grand Prix, he's already dropping like an absolute stone. And he is Florian Volker now attacking his teammate James Williams. He's got the slipstream, got the DRS effectively, and he's now side by side. Williams is not letting him through easy. Volker trying to make a move into turn 1, and as he made the move stick, he's still outside of him, still side by side. Great racing between the 2 Red Bull teammates. Let's hope they don't collide, and no, they don't. Volker completes a fantastic move up into 6th place, and now he's got Moishin, who's now attacking Alex Southgate, but Volker tries to make a move. Tries to make a move back on Volker, but he can't quite do it. And now here's the battle. Oh, was there a bit of contact there between Volker and Southgate? It looked like there was. It looked very close, and so Volker had actually gone past Moitin down the straight, so he'd gone past Moitin, and he braked very late. And was there contact there? I think maybe there was a tiny bit of contact. I think there's a way that Southgate's car just jiggled away like that. But Volker is now right behind Southgate coming through turn 3. He's going to have the slipstream going into turn 4. Is he going to make the move stick? He's on the inside, but he backs off and allows Southgate to stay ahead for the time being. But Moitian, James Willis, and I think that's Armar Carr are now all right behind. It's now Evan Byrne comes in for his first stop of the race on lap 11. So it looks like he's going on the 3 stop at this moment in time. He's going for 26 laps. So he could possibly go to the end on the 2nd stop. We will see how that goes. So the 3 stop looks to be on here for a number of drivers, and probably the 2 stop will be the other likely option. 1 stop, as shown by Joseph Willis, doesn't look like it is going to work, but that all depends on traffic, because where is Evan Byrne coming out? He is coming out behind traffic. He's coming out behind Lucas Levi and Robert Ionescu. Now here on board with Roland Moichin, who's being attacked by now. And there was contact, and he was being attacked by Carr, and he has been attacked, and he's been hit off the road, and Moichin has lost the place to Carr, and he's somehow managed to keep it ahead of everyone else. But you can see that he was being attacked by Carr. I thought it was Volker there, but there was contact there, and it was lucky that neither car had any damage from that. But Carr made the move. He had to back off there. Moichin, as Carr was going through, and he made the move stick comfortably in the end. But now Moichin has got James Willis behind him, and he's got Rifki Parkrasane as well for company as Carr moves up to 5th place. A good race so far by the British driver, as he actually now pits. So he was obviously on low fuel as well. 1.9 litres left in the tank. Let's see how much the T will fuel him for the end of the race. So he comes to the pits. Armar Carr not had a particularly good season last season, but it was the same really with Robert Ionescu. I believe Carr only took, I think it was either 2 or 3 points finishes all season. Never really had much luck. His last points finish, I believe, was at the Singapore Grand Prix. Carr pits from the mid-pack. Let's see how well he does coming out the pits. Lucas Levi, the Singaporean driver, the first Singaporean driver in this series, comes in. Michael Mocho for Lotus also comes in. And also notably, after 13 laps, we are yet to have any retirements from this Grand Prix. So let's see how far we can go with all 22 cars still on track and running. Mocho, let's see how quick the stop will be for Lotus. It is an 11.5, 11.5 second stop. He comes out, 28 laps, so he'll be going quite a long way. So it looks like probably maybe a two-stop strategy, maybe. We will see is now here is a battle. This is between Lucas Levi trying to get past Xavier Quinlan with George Roque just in front. And it's not Lucas Levi, it's actually Ricky Farquharson. Obviously, he must have made a pit stop. And George Roque, I'm not sure if he made a pit stop. I think he has already made a stop already, as far as I know, unseen by the cameras. As now Robert Ionescu for Toro Rosso comes into the pits. He's had a pretty poor start to the season. He's notably said he wants to get the Red Bull seat for next season, but at this moment in time, it's not looking particularly likely at the moment if his bad luck continues. But he comes out a 10.6 second stop, as there is a battle between Sean Grant and George Roque, as Roque now passes Grant into turn 1, and looks like Robert Ionescu actually has been jumped by Roque and Farquharson. That's not good for the Romanian driver. And there's Levi just behind. As now here on board for the straight, he is Alex Southgate, I should say, being attacked by Florian Volker. And Volker's going to try and make a move into turn 1. He's side by side. Is he going to make the move stick? They're moving about in the straight, and he does make it stick. Southgate backs off, and he goes a little bit wide. Misses the apex going into turn 1 and through turn 2. And now that gives James Wills a chance to get slipstream possibly. But now Florian Volker makes his first stop of the race. It looks like probably more likely for him it will be a two-stopper, depending on how much the team fuel him. So let's have a look and see. It's 27 laps, so that most likely will mean that Volker is on a two-stop. Let's see how well this goes. Two-stop probably looking the more likely option than three-stop. I'm not sure if the three-stop will work. Certainly at the moment it hasn't looked for Byrne because he came out in traffic. So we'll see how that works out for him. Let's see where Volker comes out on the track. He comes out, looks like it would come out just behind Armand Carr in 8th place, the last point spot at the moment. George Roque just going behind there in 10th. Sam Thompson for Williams is in the pits. Williams, who don't have a particularly great car this year, probably not even worse than it was last year, but their pace really is off as they are right at the back of the field, unfortunately, because their car just isn't quick enough at all, really. Let's see where Quag will come out on the track. It's a 10.8 second stop for the French driver, who's now actually down to last place. Jay McKenzie's actually in 21st, so he's obviously had a poor race. I don't know if he's had any incidents or anything. And there's a car that's spun on track, and that is Lucas Levi, who has spun, looks like just coming onto the back straight, and the car's having to really slow down and avoid him there. That is quite a scary place to have an incident, but he's going to drop all the way to the back. His car have to slow down as the marshals wave the flag. But as he has to wait for all the cars to go past, now he'll wait for Quag and... Well, as he waits for Quag and McKenzie to go past, and there's Evan Byrne, who's now lapped him. So for Lucas Levi, that has unfortunately costed him any chance he had of any points in this race. But that was quite a scary position that he was in. He was right on the racing line. It's lucky that every driver managed to slow down in time. Let's have a look what happened. So he came in the corner, he just lost on the apex, and he just went very, very wide, and he lost it. It was the worst possible place. It's lucky that Holst and I believe that was Xavier Quinlan managed to avoid him. And so did all the other cars as well. We have a look again. He just went well wide. He just never really made the corner at all. Went touched a bit of the grass and then just spun. Luckily, as I said, Quinlan and Holst managed to avoid the stricken car, and so did all the others who were just coming around the corner, right on the racing line. If that was any closer, the cars probably more likely would have hit him if they weren't careful. But Levi is still in the race. At the moment, I believe we still have 22 cars remaining. So that should be interesting to see if any cars retire anytime soon. As now Felix Sontag comes into the pits for Mercedes for his first stop of the race, I believe. Unless he has made a stop early on, which I'm not sure he has. I haven't seen it personally, but we could have easily missed something. And now we do have our first retirement of the race. That's commentator's curse, and that is Michael Mocho. How unfortunate is that? And he becomes the first retirement of the race on lap 25. We are getting close-ish to the halfway point. We've gone past probably a third of the race, I would say, and certainly a quarter of the race, so... But unfortunately for Michael Mocho, his engine looks to have let him down once again. And let's have a look how it happened. He was just coming down the back straight and just coming into turn 1. Seemed to be okay. Gap was 1.6 to Quinlan and 9 seconds to Wolf. Obviously, he just made a stop. And it was indeed an engine problem. Unfortunately, reliability has once again let down Lotus. It's never really been their forte. And you can see smoke already coming up the car. So unfortunately, the problem was terminal. So he had to pull off the circuit. Unfortunate failure there for Michael Mocho. Even though he can be a fast driver, sometimes his reliability is not the best, and obviously he does have his moments, as many drivers in the series have experienced. But as he came through the fast left and then right-hander before the back straight, unfortunately he pulls off into the gravel, as Sontag was obviously just coming into the pits at that time. Now into the pits comes Waze Kuba, I believe, for his first stop of the race. It is a 21 lap race. I think I briefly saw on the lap counter that it swapped from 27 to 28 there. But as that was a 9.96 stop, so that was a quick stop there from the Ferrari crew. So where will Kuba come out? Will he come out ahead of Evan Byrne? Because if he does, that means he will be in the lead of the race. And I believe he has, as far as I know. As now here is a battle between again. Oh, Miklos Gau actually in the lead, but Miklos Gau spun off. So Miklos Gau, who actually hadn't made a stop yet, he was one of the last ones. He did the exact same thing that Levi did. But he did a nice little spin there and managed to get it going very quickly, but that's cost him a lot of time. That is not what Gau wanted if he had any chance of winning this race. Unfortunately, it might have just gone out the bag there. As he came around, he just went way too wide. He got on the grass and actually he touched the gravel as well. Did very well to stop the spin there, but unfortunately he just couldn't stop the other half of the spin just coming onto the straight. That was a very scary moment there for Miklos Gau. But he manages to rejoin. He doesn't damage his car, but he does lose a lot of tires. Now here is where he has got ahead of Evan Byrne. So that strategy for Evan Byrne so far has not worked out very well. Now here is Kuba right behind Miklos Gau to take the proper lead, take the lead of the race and to take the lead overall after Gau makes his stop. As Gau is being overtaken as Kuba is side by side with him down the straight, going to 305 kilometers an hour. They've got a Lotus in front of him, Roman Quarg, who might get in the way. They're not careful, but Kuba does make the move for the lead, and he takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. And now he will lap Quarg coming through turn 3 and now going into turn 4. But for Gau, that is very costly indeed. Evan Byrne now comes in for his second stop of the race. So he's going 20 laps, so obviously he will make a stop before the end. So let's see where he will come out on track. He's done a 9.4 second stop. At the moment, it looks like that 3-stop strategy for Byrne has not worked out particularly well. But let's see where he will come out on track. And he comes out in, looks like P5. He comes out ahead of the Red Bull, and I think he will. And he does, I think, just about. Is now here on board with Rifki Farkhuzane, who is right behind Florian Volker, as they now come through down the back straight. Now he is attacking Joseph Willows, who I don't believe has actually made a stop yet. He's still got another few laps left to go, and now Volker does get past Joseph Willows, and now Farkhuzane will get past him as well. Joseph Willows probably will be sick and tired of this happening, and he's right behind him as they come into the final chicane. There's not going to be a chance to overtake there, but actually I'm wrong, as Farkhuzane just goes down the inside of Joseph Willows coming into the chicane there. That was a fantastic move. You don't ever see anyone really overtaking there. So well done there to Rifki Farkhuzane, but Joseph Willows continually dropping like a stone. That was a great move there by Farkhuzane. I don't think I've actually ever seen anyone really overtake through there, because it's actually quite a tight corner, but Joseph Willows just gave him all the room in the world to do so. So well done to Farkhuzane, but that car for Joseph Willows clearly is not working, and that strategy for him is not working out at all. As now Miklos Gau comes in for a stop, and it looks like he will actually go to the end of this race. So at the moment, it is looking good for him to probably get second place, but Kuba is the one who is well out in front, so even if Byrne has problems, he'll still be second, but he needs Kuba to have any problems to win this race, really, Gau. As Alex Southgate for Mercedes, who's having a very good race so far, comes into the pits. It's a 13-second stop. Let's see where he will come out on the track. It's quite a long one, so he is also being fueled to the end, and he'll be fueled to lap 70 overall, but obviously there's only 66 laps of this race, and now here is Felix Donder, who's going past Joseph Willows on lap 40. It must be only a lap or so before Joseph Willows goes into the pits. I'm pretty certain it was like 43 laps that his fuel was at the beginning, and Sontag can't quite get past him. His car is battling with Sontag's teammate Southgate behind him, coming into the first corner, as Viggo Holst is now in the pits for Force India. Let's see where he will come out. 8.6 second stop. He's not had a particularly great race, Holst, the complete opposite of what it was last time out in Turkey, where he took his first ever OC podium. As now Moitin is just coming out, so it's not been a good race out for both Force Indias, really. They've both had poor races after what were fantastic ones in Turkey. Is now here on board with Sean Grant. He goes a bit wide coming out turn 3, and he gets a little bit out of shape, and now Adam Wolf goes past him for 19th place. Bit of a bad mistake there from Sean Grant, which cost him a position there. There's Evan Byrne, who's set to lap them soon, as they now come into turn 5. And now Sean Grant will try and close up to Wolf ahead of him. Now Joseph Wills finally comes in for his first stop of the race. 29 laps, so obviously he will go to the end, but unfortunately for Joseph Willis, he needs a lot of luck to have any chance of getting anywhere near the points. So let's see where he will come out. So he's going to come out well down the order. He might even be lapped in this race if he's not careful. He'll come out ahead of Roman Quagg. He'll come out in some clear air. But let's see if he can put the pedal to the metal and maybe try and get something out of this race. Some points would be really good for him, but unfortunately it's not really what he wanted, considering after Turkey, where he comfortably won the Grand Prix just ahead of his teammate Waze Kuba. It's been the complete opposite today. The team have put him on the wrong strategy. They've actually put Kuba on the right strategy. Probably people will think that there might be sabotage in the garage, but we don't know. But anyway, Kuba comes in for his final stop. Let's see how quick the stop will be from the Ferrari pit crew. And it is, as you can see, the crew put 24 laps, so he'll comfortably make it to the end of this race. It is a 10.4 second stop. And where will he come out on track? Will he still actually be in first? It should be interesting to see. I'm not sure, because Gal, I think, is actually well away from him. So we will see. And Kuba comes out still in first place. It's actually Evan Byrne just comes through the down the back straight. So Evan Byrne will be second. Waze Kuba currently in first. And now Joseph Willows comes into... not Joseph Willows, I should say. James Willows comes in for his final stop. He'll be fueled to the end of the race. Been a quiet race for James. Not really done anything particularly spectacular. Not really exactly shone or anything. But he's kept out of trouble, really. He's had a decent race. He's had some good pace. So let's see where he will come out of the pits. And I believe he comes out behind Miguel Scales. Now Evan Byrne makes his final stop of the race, and you can see just on the onboard camera there is a bit of rain in the air. So the rain has come down. You can see it is very cloudy out on track, but will it rain enough for the drivers to go in for wet tyres? We shall see. There's a yellow flag, and that's Waze Kuba. Waze Kuba's out of the race. Unbelievable, Jeff. That is, I can't believe it. Waze Kuba has thrown away a certain victory. He was looking so comfortable out front, and unfortunately, to commentator's curse there, as Waze Kuba, who was leading so comfortably as the ring on, was it his own mistake? And by the looks of it, it was. Moyton was going past, and Kuba just goes wide, coming into turn 4. And unbelievably, Waze Kuba, I think he was, I don't think he maybe took a surprise that Moyton was actually trying to unlap himself there. But that is quite unbelievable. That is there from Waze Kuba. And that is surely just gifted the victory to, is it going to be Miklos Gal maybe? I'm not sure. It probably will be Miklos Gal. We shall see. But Waze Kuba, quite ridiculous there, as there's a wheel that's into the track. But that is ridiculous what has happened there. Waze Kuba, what have you done? Well, I suppose you can't really put 100% of the blame on him there. But, I mean, Moyton certainly coming inside was certainly something that Kuba did not expect at all, really. But now that's gifted the lead to Miklos Gal, so he may look to take a comfortable win, maybe in the end. But let's go on board with Gal as he comes through. He comes through the turn, and no, he will not take a comfortable win. He's just hit the wheel of Waze Kuba. He's going to have to pit for a new front wing. So this boring race has actually just come to life, and I think unbelievably that is going to hand the lead to Evan Byrne of all people. That is, Evan Byrne must have several clovers, and as an Irishman, in his car somewhere, in his engine, in his helmet, on every part of the car. We just can't see it, but he has had the luck of the draw so far this season, and once again the luck is going to go his way. And Evan Byrne, unless he has any problems or has an incident with lap traffic or has a mechanical problem, is going to win this race, because Gal is going to have to pit again and Byrne does not have to pit. So that is quite unbelievable what has happened here. And Miklos Gal, he thought he was going to win this race, finally ended his hoodoo with McLaren, but unfortunately he seems to have a lot of bad luck in this series. So obviously you can't blame McLaren for the wheel being on the track there, but it's just unfortunate that he hasn't been able to get the win, whereas his teammate was not going to get the win now, whereas his teammate has got very lucky so far this season. As Miklos Gal comes into the pits to pit for a new front wing. And let's see how quick the stop will be as Adam Wolf comes in for his final stop. So the rain's still coming, but at the moment the track is still comfortably dry, so I don't think the rain at the moment is going to have really an impact on the race. But he's actually dropped down to third as James Willers has gone past him on track. So Willers is set to take second place, and Volker has gone past as well. So it looks like it's only going to be a top 4 for Gal when it could have been a victory. So that is probably going to be quite upsetting for the Hungarian driver. He comes out in a comfortable 4th, so he won't be challenged for that. maybe he could go for the fastest lap, but obviously he probably won't be able to now as the rain comes. And now Ricky Parkinson actually comes in for his final stop of the race on lap 55. Obviously he has gone for the 3-stop strategy as well. Let's see how quick the stop will be. Will he come out in the points, interestingly enough, because he was running in the top 5. But let's see where he comes out on the track. So he's dropped down to 6 behind Southgate. He's dropped behind Carr. Is he going to drop behind anyone else? There's Sontag who's behind him. He has dropped behind Sontag. And George Roque, I think, is going to overtake him as well. And he could be overtaken by Joseph Willows. But he does come out just outside the points, just behind George Roque. So that was close. Very close. And oh, Miklos Gal, I believe, has made another mistake. He's probably quite frustrated at the fact that he's had a certain race win taken away from him by some unfortunate bad luck. And he does go wide, coming around into turn 7. As he has to come through turn 8. As the marshal still, unfortunately, waving his yellow flag. He doesn't realise that there is no danger there. But you can never be too safe these days. Health and safety is just ridiculous these days. There's just so much regulation on everything. But anyway, this is Adam Wolf, who unfortunately is going to have to retire from the Grand Prix. He was running in, unfortunately, a very low 20th place. He wasn't really going to get anything out of this race. Not been a good race for Williams at all. He'll want to probably get on the next flight to Monaco as soon as possible. But he is going to have to retire from this. Well, he does retire from this race. He was coming around turn 3, but obviously he was going at half the speed. He was 24 seconds off Levi, so unfortunately the car is absolutely horrendous in terms of pace. It's just got absolutely nothing there, and there goes the engine on his car, and he has to pull off to the side of the circuit. Not what he would have wanted at all. As he comes down the back straight, got smoke bellowing everywhere. Fortunately not in the crowd. Obviously they won't have to smell the engine power of the Williams, although there is no engine power. It's just it's almost like it's like a Fiesta engine in there or something like that, or like Kia engine or something like that. But something there's something power in this car, but it's clearly not an F1 engine really. And now here we're on the final lap. As here's a battle between Viggo Holst and Robert Ionescu for 11th place. And now is Holst going to take 11th coming into the first corner? The answer is no, he doesn't. Ionescu holds it around the outside, and he's going to keep the place. And that is happening just behind Evan Byrne, who is leading this race by 12 seconds from James Willows. The strategy wasn't exactly, well, without Kuba's problems and without Gal's problems, Evan Byrne probably would have only taken 3rd place here, because the strategy was not the correct strategy. It was a 2-stop was the way to go. He's once again got some fantastic luck. He's got Kuba, who crashed out of a comfortable lead. You could say that Roland Moyton was there and overtaken, that was his fault, but it's still down to the driver to maybe look at his mirrors, but I suppose Moyton probably shouldn't have made that move anyway. But Evan Byrne is going to take another victory, and here he is going to lap what was going to be the championship leader, Joseph Willett. Well, what was the championship leader, Joseph Willett, before this race. That will absolutely feel like a punch in the stomach for Joseph Willows there, and as Evan Byrne is going to reclaim the championship lead. So far this season, Joseph Willows has won 2, Evan Byrne has won 2 races, but as Evan Byrne comes through the chicane for the final time, Evan Byrne comes through the final corner. The rain didn't make an impact in this race, but Evan Byrne takes his 3rd victory of the season to make it McLaren 3 wins, Ferrari 2. The championship is well and truly on, as Joseph Willows comes home in a disappointing 10th. Robert Ionescu just holds off Holst for 11th place. James Willows is set to come home in 2nd place. He's done a good job so far this race, and he comes home in 2nd position. 3rd place will be Florian Volker. He'll be probably pretty happy with that. 13th place will be Moyton. It just wasn't a good day for Force India, and unfortunately for Jamie McKenzie, it's not been a good day for him either. That's very unfortunate. Miklos Gal, who probably could have won this race, finishes in 4th place. Sam Thompson will come home in 15th place for Williams. And now the rest of the cars come through. Sean Grant is going to come home in 16th. At least he's finished ahead of both Williams cars. Well, no, one of them I should say that's not finished. Lucas Levi comes home in a disappointing 17th place, but he's not really, I suppose, expecting much in this season. He's been drafted into a place as Alex Southgate comes home in 5th. Xavier Quinlan comes home in 18th. Amar Carr come home and take an impressive 6th place for Toro Rosso. He went under the radar this race, but he did very well indeed. So as Roman Carr comes home in 19th place. Felix Sontag set to come home in 7th, so that's a decent amount of points for him. George Rowe is just going to hold off Ricky Farquharson for the final points, point 8, as Ricky Farquharson comes home in 9th position. But there is your race winner, Evan Byrne, a fantastic race from him, although it was, you could say, luck did play a part in it, but he won't care one little bit. As here's the full race results: Evan Byrne winning from James Willis second, Florian Volker third, Miklos Gal fourth, at Southgate fifth, Amar Khan sixth, Felix Sonntag seventh, George Rowe eighth, completing the points with Ricky Park receiving ninth, with the following drivers a lap down: Joseph Willis, Robbie Inescu, Viggo Holes, Roland Moyton, Jamie Kitty, Sam Thompson, Sean Grant, Lucas Levi, Xavier Quinlan, and Roman Quagg, with Wolf, Kuba, Mocho, the only 3 drivers retiring from this race. So now the fastest lap of the Grand Prix was set by Evan Byrne, with Waze Kuba in second, Volker in third, Gal fourth, James Willis fifth, Carr sixth, same position as he finished, Holst eighth, Farquharson eighth, George Rowe ninth, Sonntag 10th, Levi 11th, Moitin, McKenzie, Ionescu, Mocho, Southgate, Willows, Joseph Willis that is, Alan Wolf, Santos, and Xavier Quinn, and Sean Grant, and Roman Quark. So it shows the poor pace that Joseph Willis had in his car during this race. Sorry about that. Anyway, the point standings after the Spanish Grand Prix: Evan Byrne now takes a 9-point lead ahead of Joseph Willis, who's only 1 point ahead of Waze Kuba and Florian Volker, who both have yet to take a win so far this season. James Willis is in 5th, Viggo Holst is in 6th, Miklos Gal 7th, George Rowe 8th, Carr 9th, and Southgate 9th, I should say, and Carr 10th, being in the top 10, Ren Jansen 11th, Sonntag 12th, Quagg 13th, Moitin 14th, Farquharson 15th, with the following drivers yet to score any points so far this season: McKenzie, Mocho, Grant, Ionescu, Thompson, Wolf, Levi, and Xavier Quinlan. In the constructor standings, it's a tie and 49 points between McLaren and Ferrari, who are 8 points ahead of Red Bull, who are 23 points ahead of Force India in 4th. Mercedes are 5 points behind with 13. Renault 6th with 9. Sauber 7th with 7. 8th to Toro Rosso with 6 points. Lotus 9th with 3. Virgin and Williams, the only 2 teams at the moment with no points on the board. Well, that has been the Spanish Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed. Not really the most exciting of races, but it never really has been. Also, I'd like to apologise, obviously, if I was sniffing a bit through the commentary. Unfortunately, I'm not particularly well at the moment. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the race, although I imagine not many people enjoyed that it wasn't that exciting. But don't forget to vote for your driver of the day, and of course, give the race a rating out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you for the next round, the Monaco Grand Prix. Adios!